So welcome to the Site Shed, and in this series we're going to discuss systemization in businesses. I'm joined in this series by Scott Gellatly from Bollo Empire, and Scott and I have done a fair bit of work together in the past, and we are going to cover off on a number of topics, but the whole idea of this series is to give you guys out there in the trades an idea of how important it is to apply systems into your business, so it can help you not only grow and scale, but also build an asset within your company. So sit back and enjoy. This is episode 1 coming up, so stay tuned.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Okay, welcome to episode 1 of Empire Building. I'm joined by Scott Gellatly from Bollo Empire. We're sitting here in sunny Sydney. Scott's flown up from Melbourne this morning, and thank you very much for coming along, Scott.
Good to be here, Matty. I thought I'd left the weather back in Melbourne, but obviously I brought it with me.
Yeah, it's a little bit overcast here in Sydney today at the time of this filming, but anyway, such is life. So, Scott, I've asked you to join me as a co-host in this series, and we are going to be discussing systems in business and empire building. A bit of a play on the old empire building spiel. You might want to just give us a bit of a rundown of where you come from, what your company is, firstly.
Yeah, love to. So, mate, Bollo Empire, we help small businesses scale up and create successful businesses. And we do that actually through systemising their business. Yep. So, helping them get a lot of efficiency in what they're doing, helping them build an asset that they can eventually sell, and just creating a kind of a scalable business that they can grow, effectively and efficiently.
And these are things that we at Tradie Web Guys especially have been very big on from the onset. It's helping guys, a couple of things that we do, but they both really revolve around helping guys firstly implement systems and processes into their business to help it run effectively, but secondly also building company assets so that it could potentially be acquired. And I suppose what we're going to talk about today is a healthy touch of both the first series, which is systemizing the business. Then in the series, in the other episodes to follow, it's also pretty heavily leveraged around that whole building that asset into your company database. So if you're listening out there, this is a very powerful series which is really designed to help you create a product that you can potentially on-sell, if so be it.
It's, look, buddy, it's actually a really ninja topic and something that a lot of business owners really don't spend enough time on, where it's actually probably the most powerful, most important thing you could do, irrespective of what business you are, trade or professional services or whatever, making your business scalable so you can build it up and grow it cost effectively, but then also turning it into an asset that you can go and sell. Yeah. It's often not the first thing that a lot of people go into business thinking about.
And it's very common, and I get this all the time with our clients. They're under this disillusion, I should say, that they are their business and their business is not worth anything without them. And I would 100% agree with that unless they've employed systems and processes.
Spot on. Mate, for all your listeners out there, guys, you've got to get off the tools. Yeah. That's what it's all about. When you systemise your business, you're getting off the tools so you can work on it and grow it instead of working in it and paying yourself a wage, because you might as well work for somebody else.
And look, as well, there is I've been down this path with a lot of directors of companies in the past, and there is also that argument, well, I feel like I'm better on the tools. I'm more productive when I am on the tools. And that, again, is fine. If your best role in your company is to be out there on the tools, then that's a fantastic thing. But you still need to get some systems implemented around the running, the way the other areas of your business are operated, so you can pass that on, and you haven't got to be spending your time in that as well.
Yeah, spot on, man. Spot on. And if you do that, systemise your business, you can hire other people to run the admin and the growth and all of that. And then if you do want to spend your time beavering away and working in the business because it's what you're best at, it's what you love, well, you can do that.
And that's very common, I think, especially for a lot of our builder clients. They're so experienced in what they do, they really don't want their role to move or to migrate away from being out on site and giving that instruction and that leadership on site. They want to just be able to free themselves up from all of the office-based stuff that they really don't want to have to, that's not in the best interest of their companies. Yeah, in their company. So okay. Look, we've managed to bring this series down into 3 episodes. The first one is systemizing your business. The second one is building your database. And the third one is going to be measuring and understanding your metrics. Why have we decided to talk on these topics, Scott?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first one speaks for itself and everything we've talked about, systemizing your business so that you can scale it up and build an asset out of it. The second topic, databasing, is really, really important for particularly your marketing and actually growing part of that asset as well, because you can't scale if you're not generating business, and building that database is going to help you generate a lot of business, which we'll talk about. And finally, knowing your numbers or measuring your metrics. You can't plan a way forward unless you know how you're tracking against your targets. You can't make informed decisions about your business without actually knowing what those numbers are. It is the difference between just working in your business, and it's really no different to a job, to being an actual business owner.
Yeah. And I'll probably throw my hand up there as in this instance as well. Maybe it's because I'm formerly a tradie myself, but I know that's probably an area of my business which is probably not what you consider a strong point. I know you've helped me in the past with a few things, which has been pretty good. And there's a lot of tools and programs out there that can sort of help give you a bit of visibility over those areas. So we'll cover off on that when we get to that last episode of this series. But I think for now we may as well just dive straight into into systemizing the business. So let's do that.
So we can do it.
So Scott, tell me, what do systems have to do with empire building?
Well, I guess it's if you think about building an empire, no empire can actually work effectively without a good logistics operation, good systems in place to make sure that the work's flowing in and the work's being delivered and pushed back out. So if you take all the same principles of that and apply it to your business, you've really got to make sure that you've got effective systems in for getting new work in the door, converting and selling that work out to the public, doing it in the most cost-effective way possible, so you're not blowing heaps of money doing quotes and things like that, and then delivering it again as cost-effectively as possible, and in a way that you can bring other people on to build your empire up so that you can get off the tools.
Yeah,
because that's all about. That's what scale is all about. Being able to bring other people to work for you to build your empire
with you, for you,
and for you. Yeah.
So why do businesses necessarily? Why do they need systems? I've been, I'm a builder. I live in Melbourne. I've been running my business for 10, 15 years. I've always done it the same way. Why do I need to employ systems?
Good question. And it's actually in the question itself. You've done it all the same way. You're the one doing the work. You're limited by the number of hours you can work a week to how far you can grow your business, how much work you can bring on, how much work you can deliver. It's limited by you, and you can bring people on and then say, oh, look, I've hired this new young fella and he just was a mess and, didn't do the job right, so I fired him. I did that 3 or 4 times and then went, nah, bugger it, I'm going to have to do it myself because no one will do it properly for me. Well, a system will actually prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing people in the deep end and showing them, oh, yeah, this is how you do it, you have a proper system in place to get something done, and you're empowering those people to deliver your work.
Yeah.
Or do whatever task you want in the business.
So as a tradie, where can you see, or as a tradesman or someone that works within a trade-based business, say plumber, electrical, landscaping, whatever it is, where do you see systems that can be applied into that type of business?
Yeah, good question. You have 3 key areas you want to focus on, right? It depends what sort of business you are and what stage you are as to what you're going to focus on first. But the first is sales. What's your systems for getting leads in the door? Which, we're going to come back to that in the database stuff a lot, and marketing to those leads. How do we actually quote and we do it cost effectively and sell cost effectively and be able to bring people on to sell for us so we can go do other things? The second one's delivering that work. So how do we deliver that work at the lowest cost basis possible and be able to scale up our people? And the third one is all your admin and all the HR stuff that you don't want to do, that you want to be able to hand off to some, without being disrespectful, cheaper admin staff to free you up from doing the actual work, right, that makes money.
Or I'd even argue somebody that's better at it than you.
Spot on, someone who's better at it than you. and someone that's going to free you up to actually make money, because they're an overhead at the end of the day. Admin's an overhead. So you want to make it as efficient as possible. You want to be getting paid on time. That's what it's all about, and that's what systems will help you do. So those 3 areas.
I think that's a reality as well of a lot of businesses out there. And most of the company directors and CEOs and stuff that I speak to, they are of absolutely no illusion that they are the best person for certain areas in their business. It's all about finding someone that can do it better and empower them to do it for you.
What I always say is the first place to systemize is the bit you hate. What's causing you the most grief, costing you the most money? If you look at what your hourly rate is, start with that.
Yeah. So I would probably add to that as well. So when we work with a lot of companies, and I'll just use one guy as an example. He's a glazier, a client of mine on the Northern Beaches, and he has for years and years, he's just done everything from out of his head, so when he brings a new person on to train them, everything he trains these guys through what he knows. As soon as he's not there, they don't know what to do without him because he's not there to answer the questions.
Yeah.
So we're working with him at the moment, and we're trying to build systems into his business around specific tasks that he carries out on the job, so that when one of his workers actually needs information relating on how to install or whatever it is, a frameless shower screen, they can go and see the system on that instead of having to pick up the phone and speak to him.
Yeah.
So little things around freeing, and that of course allows him to be out there chasing more work, chasing up quotes,
spot on,
and doing all that kind of stuff, which is time effective for him as opposed to wasting his time retraining and retraining people at the time. So that's a really powerful thing for, I think, trade-based businesses. If you can even employ systems around in a training mindset and freeing yourself up from actually having to be there and physically training new staff members, and that's a big thing. So how would I go about creating a system?
Well, let's think of an example, right? So you kind of get the right idea of what a system's all about. I've got my brother's a cabinet maker, and when a lot of the businesses that he's worked on, when he goes in, they don't just give him a hammer and some nails and a bit of wood and say, go and build some cabinets, right? There's not just a set of plans, but in a lot of the high volume stuff that they've got to do really quickly, there's a full instruction set that actually outlines, 1 to 10, here are all the steps you go to building this particular type of cabinet. Much like the example you used, with the shower.
Okay.
The manager comes in, or the supervisor comes in, demonstrates how to do it to the crew, the training. Then he says, here's your system, which is the set of steps that you go to actually get it done. And then you go and execute.
Yeah.
So, the system is the people, so the people that are actually trained and there to do it. It's the process, the set of steps to actually build the cabinet, and the tool or the technology, which is the hammer and the nails and the wood.
Okay.
Combine the three of them together and you've got a system.
So just out of curiosity, in that example, how does your brother-in-law deliver systems? Like, is it a bit of paper? I know this probably isn't important at the end of the day, but I'm just out of curiosity. I'm just wondering how they do it.
Yeah, you've got heaps of different ways of doing it, right? And my favourite's like delivering by video. So because you can watch it on your phone, on their iPad. So they're sitting there, they can be working away and check something out on the iPad. The iPad's got a video of how it is and then dot points of how it works. But honestly...
So like a YouTube sort of channel?
Yeah, like a YouTube channel. The product we use, Podio, you can actually embed videos into it, check them out on your phone and, go at it from there. But honestly, paper is perfectly good. As I said, once someone's instructed them, the paper's got the system on it, the set of steps on how to get something done.
I think that's an important point as well. I know obviously we're very heavily into technology and, cloud solutions and this and that, but at the end of the day, you really need to do what people are going to use. And that brings me to my next question. How do I make people follow my systems? Yeah.
Well, there's a bit of carrot and stick. you got to make it easy. You got to make it accessible. And when I say accessible, it's, your team want to work on a ruggedized iPad or whatever to see how to do stuff and, log quotes and things like that. Some businesses can suit a technology solution. Others, pen and paper is all fine, or basic spreadsheets are all fine, just as long as it's getting done right. And that's sometimes where a bit of stick comes in and you've got to hold people accountable. When something goes wrong, your first question is, did you follow the system?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then the system's broken. It's a great opportunity to fix it.
Yeah.
If they didn't, well, you got some performance problems and you got to give them a black mark and have a word about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I know with a lot of the companies we've worked with in the past, there's that whole teething there's a teething stage when trying to implement systems, and there's also occasionally resistance from people that you're trying to get to follow your systems. How do you avoid that? Was that a loaded question?
I was about to say just fire the devil, but no. Yeah, look, change is hard. Change is hard for everybody, especially people that have always done it their way. And, you put in a system, go, nah, look, this is how I want it done from now on. And that can be hard for some people. And to be honest, mate, it does result in some people shifting off.
Yeah.
And you've got to sometimes cut away the dead wood. And that's part of being a business owner, is recognising that and taking action. But, you can also provide incentives for it, show people, how it makes their job easier. So, look, if we can save money on this, I can add to your wage and give you a bonus. If the job's going to go quicker, then you get a bonus for completing the job, to spec if it's done faster.
Yeah.
A few carrots you can throw in.
I know that one way in the past that we've actually been able to make sure that systems, it's not 100% foolproof, but it does work quite well, is when you get people, you're getting people to buy into that thought process. And by doing that, when, we always say to people, and I didn't coin this, but, if you can create the first system on how to create systems, that's pretty powerful. Educate people on how to build systems around the tasks they actually do, because then they're invested in it. And it's like, well, okay, now I can actually play with this instead of just following what feels like an order.
Mate, you're spot on. And that works at all ages. The dudes that are the pros, the masters, that resistance to change, get them to build the system for you and then just modify it and adapt it with them.
Yeah.
The young guys, you'll find that a lot of young people that you think are actually, bums or not working hard, all they actually want to do is get more involved.
Yeah.
And if you actually give them a bit of responsibility and say, build a system out of this, in some cases you'll actually end up with a lot of buy-in.
So is there any specific framework that you would typically employ when you're talking about establishing a system?
Yeah, definitely. How many W's or how many H's? The who, what, when, where, how, and why is, you keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Every system has, why do we do it? What is it that we're doing? Who's going to do it? When they should do it, and how, which is your step 1, step 2, step 3, and then maybe what tools at the bottom,
And when we go back to the who is doing it, I know we're going through this process with my business at the moment. We're not specifically assigning a person. Yeah, we're assigning a role.
That's right. So that's very, very important, actually.
Yeah. So an example of that would be, instead of saying this system is assigned to Scott, we would say this system is assigned to the fit out team, and Scott is the leader of the fit out team.
Spot on. At the end of the day, when I talk about scaling up and adding people, you don't have names, you just have a role, and then you don't have to be updating stuff. And, it's actually all about defining the role and then hiring for that role in the future.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. So tell me, if I set systems into my business and I set processes and all this kind of stuff, what can I expect to see as a result?
Yeah, well, systemising your business is not something that's going to change the world overnight. It's a long-term strategy. It takes a long time to do. You'll be constantly iterating and improving those systems over time as you get better and better and, work out new ways of doing things. But the result is, the best result is that as a business owner, you should be able to step off the tools and have the systems there for people to be able to actually do the job for you.
Or step away from the task.
Step away from the task that you don't want to do, depending on, how you want to do it. It means that hiring new people is a lot easier. When they come in, you give them the training, then you give them the system, and they can go away and start doing the job. So it's costing you way less money to bring on new people.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, combine those two things together and your business is now scalable. And if you're able to focus more time on actually getting out there and marketing the business or selling the business because you're not having to do all the admin or whatever, and you've got the systems in place to just add people in, you're scalable so you can grow a big business. And the end result is an asset, something that doesn't actually rely on you or rely on any given person. It just relies on roles, which another bigger trade organisation could actually look at and go, yeah, this is bloody awesome. I will buy that for $1 million. Here's your paycheck, Either stay on the tools or go live out in the mountains or the beach or whatever you want to go do. Buy your dream home.
Yeah, no, and that's a big thing. I mean, anyone that's been to any of our workshops or, listened to any of our or read any of our material in the past, that's a big thing we talk about. If somebody's potentially going to want to acquire your business, they're typically going to buy two things. Firstly, it's going to be the systems and processes that run the business. Mm-hmm. And second thing is, more often than not, it's going to be the database, the marketable database, customer database, whatever it is. So I suppose we're talking much in the former of those two at the moment, which is building those assets into your company so somebody can pretty much pick it up, plug it in, and it should run the way that it was running with you.
Yeah.
The old McDonald's.
Yeah, that's right. It's turning your plumbing business into the Maccas of plumbing. That's not the right term.
No. McDonald's plumbing.
McDonald's plumbing.
Yeah.
But you are trying to basically turn it into a big workflow.
Yeah. So let's talk now, I suppose, tools that we could use to build out systems. Obviously, these are going to be a little bit biased asking.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I know from a trade point of view, there's a lot of tools that are out in the marketplace which are very good for things like project management, job management, all that kind of stuff. I haven't seen too many that are really specifically designed for systems. What are your thoughts?
Step one, piece of paper and pencil.
Yeah.
That's always where you start. Start writing out your steps, do your who, what, where, why, and how for whatever processes you want. That's your first tool. Your second tool to go from there, even something like a spreadsheet, if you can use like Microsoft, Word or Excel or whatever, you can turn it into an electronic document and then people can access it for, an iPad or whatever. But when you want to get more sophisticated, there's, as you said, stacks of trade-based tools out there, like GeoOp is one example. The product that we recommend is called Podio, and it's basically a tool that you build systems in.
Yeah.
So you just, run up your videos, you store them on the system, you've got all the text in there and how to do it, and you can also use it for your customer database and also managing your jobs as well.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an all-rounder tool.
Yeah. I'd probably even go back on that a step, and I would say if you're in that space of, okay, yeah, you're right, I do need to employ systems and processes in my business, I would probably skip the first two, being paper and pencil, and something like Microsoft Excel, and I would be thinking in the space of, firstly, cloud-based products, and secondly, collaboration. And I think the key for me with systems is collaboration, because you don't want to have that scenario where you've got, and I've seen it in the past, where you've got, people working on a document, say an Excel spreadsheet, or you've got 4 people working on an Excel spreadsheet, but it's not collaborative. So then there's all these 4 different versions of the one document. Whereas with cloud-based, we use Google Apps a lot, and Google Apps is great because even as we speak, we're sitting here collaborating on the same document.
Yeah.
And it's really strong from a system point of view, because not only does it give you access to all the revisions, but it also means that everyone's working together on the same document at the same time in real time.
I'll give you a real powerful example of that. We've got a client that works in New South Wales and Victoria. They're weed spray and environmental restoration project management company, and putting in a collaboration system, something that had all of their processes in, but also allowed their team to come together and give everybody updates because they're sort of geographically dispersed. The owner could literally keep track of everything that was happening in her business at any point during the day. When somebody finished a job, it flashed up on the screen saying this job's finished. When somebody, was doing a new quote, the value was in the system and she got a little feed saying, yep, this has been done, and everyone could comment on it and say, yeah, actually, I can pick this job up, or have you thought about this? You're underquoting, you're overquoting. People could actually collaborate together.
Yeah.
And it's enabled her to, really start to scale up and grow a business.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. I know for all your listeners out there, you may have heard in previous episodes, I was co-hosted with Clinton from TradiePad, and we were talking about cloud-based solutions, and a lot of those things came up there as well. So if you haven't listened, then go back and listen to those episodes. They're fantastic. Okay, yeah, cool. And so key takeaways from this episode?
Well, I think the key takeaways, first of all, when you think about systems, you think of like a business owner, not like someone who's working in a business. So that's the first change, right? Second thing, creating a system is not as hard as it sounds. Who, what, where, why, and how. Get it out, and then look at a software tool that will allow you to actually come together as a team to make it happen. You know, it's not as complicated as it sounds, and there are plenty of people out there that can help you do it.
Yeah.
Including Bollo Empire.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
And I'd say my key takeaways from what we've just spoken about from a practical point of view is, firstly, start developing that mindset around building processes that can replace the tasks that you do in your business that you don't necessarily want to do. Build processes and systems around the tasks that you do and you do like doing. Just build them anyway. And just get in the habit of creating systems, get them documented so that you're turning your intellectual property into intellectual knowledge, and then that then will form an asset which is potentially acquirable. So, Jesus, that was good.
I couldn't have said that. Do you want a job with
So, anyway, look, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode on systems in your business. So, Scott, thanks for joining us with that. That's been fantastic.
Loved it. Thanks, Matty.
In the following episode, we're going to be discussing building your database. So this is sort of stems on from what we touched on just now. However, it's an entirely separate topic and it is very important. So stay tuned for that. And that's a wrap. So if you haven't already, head across to thesiteshed.com and register for our Toolbox Talks, where you'll be regularly sent great episodes just like this straight to your inbox, so you'll never miss one. If you want to join the community, you can head across to thesiteshed.com/members, where for a small monthly fee, you'll get access to regularly updated training material, as well as access to our forum where you can mingle and collaborate with trade-based business owners just like you from all over the world. If you're enjoying this podcast, please head across to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it, and it helps us spread the word and reach the masses. Likewise, if you know anyone that might benefit from the content we create, then please go ahead and share this with them.
You've been listening to Toolbox Talks by The Site Shed. For more great content just like this, head across to thesiteshed.com and join the amazing community of savvy trade-based business owners.